Hi everyone. I have delayed doing one of these videos. It's the informational videos that I haven't done in a while, I'll be honest, but I've been called to put this type of video out there in case it resonates for any divine feminines who are watching. And any divine feminines who are watching this now or in the near future. This is a timeless message, and it's come up on the back of the video that I just recorded about being your own light, like shining your light because your light looks so good on you. Because it's the divine feminines who are now coming into this sanctuary, this light, where the divine feminines are done. They're not begging for love. They're not waiting around for the masculines. They're not waiting for the masculines to awaken or return to something. And it's not that the divine feminines are angry, and it's not like um it's a very different type of energy. What I mean is it's not angry, it's not even indifferent, kind of is indifferent, but it's basically the power that the divine feminines are finally choosing themselves. Like, if there's a choice between the divine masculine and the divine feminine is choosing themselves. And it's a very specific energy when you get into this type of energy for the divine counterparts. It doesn't come about lightly, the decision isn't made lightly. And it's because your soul is pulling on your energy, and it's letting you know that it's time. It's time. And I keep saying that there is this energy of I'm ready, you're ready for the next step, you're ready for the next phase of the journey. And the divine alchemy of this timing, this moment is shifting everything for the twin flames. This message is not a coincidence. If you found this on your timeline, or, you've it's popped up on YouTube suggested, it's basically because it's meant to reach you at this very specific moment in time, and your journey is resonating with this message alone. So there's no coincidences. It's an actual confirmation by the universe that you're vibrating at a different level, you're shifting. And so that's basically speaking things into existence, right? And it's not as if you're crying over your divine masculines or you're giving a dramatic farewell. It's basically because you feminines are acknowledging the love that you harbor inside yourself between you and your masculine. And there's this whole different type of sacred honoring of your own love, that you have understood your standards, your boundaries have been tested. And that's what I meant about choosing yourself, because you spend so much time as an empath, as a considerate soul, always putting other people before you, always um giving. It was really difficult to learn how to receive. And through these lifetimes, you've also given to your twin flame countlessly, endlessly, numerously. And this patience has kind of worn thin. It's come across this type of um other resistance about not hiding, not disconnecting, not healing or forcing them to awaken or to fix them. It's basically acknowledging that the divine feminine has always held the light, and they can't force the divine masculines to do anything but go on their own journey. It's almost like this sense of peace. It's like when the feminine really realizes that there is a light so powerful. It's not about running away. It's not about walking away. It's walking towards the magnitude of light that is you, divine feminines. And so this is the most powerful shift in reality, because you're no longer chasing or running, And it's basically the feminines are almost cutting off their energy for connections that dishonor her higher self, right? If it's almost like I'm not entertaining lower vibrations anymore. And if my masculine wants to be in that lower vibration, well, I'm not entertaining that either. They can do and learn on their own accord, but this is my time to shine, and I'm not lowering my standards or my light because I deserve so much better. That's the type of energy I'm getting. It's not a rejection of the divine masculine. It's a repurposed embrace that the divine feminine deserves so much more. And if you are actually in this energy, please let me know in the comments box. Does this resonate? Do you like the video? Like the video, comment, because it's not just those people who are going through this twin flame collective. It's basically acknowledging that there's more of us out there who really do want to shift and are going through this transformation. This specific part of the twin flame journey that most people don't really talk about, but this specific part I've not heard of the twin flame coaches talk about, but basically it's about returning to the wholeness of the light within. And so it's just talking about how the feminine isn't willing to compromise their standards to actually dip back into the lower vibration. And sometimes the divine masculine actually comes in to test the divine feminine's boundaries. That's where this in and out energy comes from. It's the divine masculines going, well, have you learned what this separation has been about? Have you got there? And that's why they come in and message you. And then sometimes your whole energy becomes about them again and a way that they message or don't message. And it's so funny because I literally just had a message from a divine masculine. So it's basically saying that I am willing to entertain higher vibrational energies and I need to be strong in my boundaries when it comes to lower vibrations, including the divine masculines. So it's basically saying, I've held space for you, divine masculines. I've constantly labored over this connection, but I've also been tired of chasing something that you're not willing to admit and open up to. And sometimes it's the silence that the divine feminines are really fighting with. It's a separation, it's the unknown. It's the constant, oh, I need to surrender, I need to surrender. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I get it. I get what the surrendering is all about. Because the feminines are the ones to expand their consciousness, to delve deeper into the connection, to communicate with their higher selves and the divine masculine's higher selves. But they are the ones who basically sense the spiritual contract, even dreaming about the masculines, even before they even meet in the physical plane. And basically, the feminines have opened the heart from all of the anguish and the pain that they've been, battling. But basically, this waiting has become a little bit of a degrade. It's degrading her power. It's degrading the energy that she can focus on her own soul mission. So basically, when the divine feminine does return to their own light, letting go of the confusion, the resistance, the unknown, this is where the divine feminine can actually step into their own mission. That's where the divine feminine's heart actually is embracing where the journey is right now, where the sacredness of her own power and worth is as a soul, as a woman, as a divine feminine. And it's not saying that you're tired of your divine masculine. It's that you're tired of those breadcrumbs. Like I feel that the divine feminines who are listening to this is like, I'm done with the breadcrumbs. I deserve better. I deserve to be shown. And you know what? If you can't do that for me right now, that's okay. Because I'm not waiting for you to enjoy my life. I'm not waiting for you to pursue adventures. And that's when the divine feminine stops proving her love, their love, and starts anchoring that infinite power in the moment, the realizing their light, realizing the energy, realizing her body is a temple, realizing that everything that they have is an essence of the divine, is the divine. That's when I was saying earlier in a previous video that the divine feminine may call upon God, may call upon the ancestors and angels, but this is a point where the divine feminine realizes that I'm a part of God. God is within me. And that's where the divine feminines are saying, I'm not abandoning myself anymore. Especially for those divine feminines who have had abandonment wounding, this isn't going to be a sacrifice that the divine feminines are making anymore. Understanding that this soul connection is always important, that the love is unconditional, but it's not going to compromise their own wholeness. It's not going to compromise their ability to shine and rise. So when this happens for the divine feminines and masculines, the divine masculines will energetically feel this. They're going to feel this pull away. They're going to feel the cutoff, and they are going to want to try things. Their higher selves are going to send messages via your friends, via numbers, via their name. All of these things are happening because they are knowing you've pulled back your energy, because you've pulled back your energy, divine feminines, and drawn it into yourself. There is this sense of hopelessness for the divine masculines. And I'm not saying this should be manipulated. By all means, this should not be used as a manipulation tactic. It needs to be authentic. Divine energy frequency knows when you're authentic and when you're being manipulative. So this current that is flowing directly to you from you, divine feminines, is absent to the divine masculines. That's what they're feeling. They're feeling the absence. They're feeling the separation a little bit more because their frequency isn't harmonizing with yours. That's basically what's happening. And you know how I stumbled on those words? It was a message from spirit to say they too are stumbling without the light that is constantly being fed to them. It's almost as if, like, say, if your electricity goes off, you realize how much you use electricity, right? And so well, that's what the divine masculine is going through. They've realized that there is an intensity, there is the electricity that has faded from their life, and they don't actually know how to step forward with this new force that is missing. So when the divine feminines have actually stopped waiting, stopped pursuing, I guess, the divine masculines, they have really reclaimed their own energy. They're returning home to themselves. They're reclaiming a sacred space. They're no longer sending signals that I'm here, come find me. This is like bathing in your own light, like sunbathing in your own light. This is the comfort. This is the home. This is the peace and the authenticity that you basically are good. And it's just that feeling of I'm good on my own, but you're really, truly good because you also know that there's no guilt, there's no punishment, there's no blame. It just feels a lot lighter. It feels safe. You are feeling safe in your own body now, and that's taken a long while through all of the healing that you've had to go through, feminines. So yes, it could be that safety net has gone between you and your divine masculines. They may be in free falling, but it's almost as if you're free falling as well, but you're embracing the free fall. You're embracing being carried by the flow of the frequency, that you are more powerful than you have ever been before, and you know more is coming. So this is the switch that happens for you. And it's almost as like you're not even concerned about the connection anymore because it's not really pressing on your mind as much. So I feel like when you get signs, symbols, and synchronicities, it does mess with you because that's the point of where the ego wants to come in and tell you, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Like, you don't really want to let go of this, you know? But when you stop chasing feminines, have you noticed that the energy, the frequency comes towards you that much quicker. As soon as you let something go, you can do this with manifestation. Anything you manifest all of a sudden comes to you because you've forgotten about it. You've just left it alone. And that's where the weight of the frequency is being held on the divine feminine. It's the divine feminine that created this vacuum, and the masculine is now no longer shielded from those emotional landscapes, from that protection that the divine feminines were giving. And usually, this protection is unknown and subconscious by the divine feminines. You already infiltrating your divine masculine's energy already gives them that protection. So you may not have outwardly forced a protection a ritual around them, but they already know they are. That's why they go so further away. That's why they go into separation so frequently. So, because you've called back your power from people, places, and things, because you've focused on your own healing journey, this is the divine masculines knowing that you've let go, knowing that through the silence, through the absence, through the energy, that you're no longer being depended on. So the divine masculines can't depend on that electricity, that can't depend on that light, because it's that inner knowing that they're still there. You're still there, divine feminines. But when you take that away, it's it's almost as if that usual thing, like the person in your bed or the person hugging you is no longer around you, and it feels as if the masculine is grieving because they're so busy being used to your energy around them, and now you're taking back your energy. They're missing the comforts, the security of the astral connection. So some of you might even be seeing astral dreams taking place, communication wanting to happen that way. But I feel that the divine feminines are very stern. Especially if you're still watching this, please do click the like button and subscribe if it resonates. But this is more about the divine feminines just really solidifying their foundation on where they need to go, like having the ability to create more space to expand their own heart in that same thread. It's saying that I now have more time, energy, and focus on my mission. So that's what's shifting. You're going from fear to faith. And so, even though the divine masculine has faced something that they have been avoiding, like facing themselves, healing themselves, they're no longer able to run away from that because they have to do the work by themselves for themselves. So, this is where there's no more sacred, safe space that the divine feminine has held for them. And it's more of a sacred, safe space that the divine masculine needs to create themselves, right? Um, so basically, this connection is being magnetized in a different way. The energy is being alchemized in a different way. And that's what happens when the divine feminine has actually declared that, it's done. I'm good. Because you're no longer running to the divine masculine, you're no longer chasing them. And then they need to understand that they no longer have a place to run away to. They're running away from the divine feminines, and it feels as if, like, why am I running? That's the kind of energy that I feel like the divine masculines will do. And it can lead to some painful dark night of the soul awakenings, but this is exactly why this needs to happen. So yes, the divine twin flame journey does bring up some longing, some pull, like you're missing a part of yourself. But I feel like the divine feminines are no longer missing that component, which is why this message will only reach a few people. That's when the divine feminines are really acknowledging that faith and that trust in the unknown, to have the audacity to know that the soul contract connection will be exactly how it's supposed to be. And it's not going to happen in the way the divine feminine expects, but it's actually happening in the way the divine wants it to play out for this specific connection and also for the collective. So you're not here just to do the work to get to your twin flame. It's actually doing the work so more of the collective can rise from your energy via your energy, right? And so this type of energy that the divine feminines have gone through, it's less about control, it's less about obsession or even signs. It's very much this true surrender and spaciousness. And it's like I'm just hearing this soft feminine era. Like that's what I've been kind of on the path from the first couple of weeks in 2025. But basically, this is a new kind of love. It's a stillness, it's a purity, it's a peace, it's a tranquil type of energy. It's saying that you're no longer lacking the wholeness, you're no longer holding space for something that you expect. It's actually saying that you weren't missing anything ever, but you needed to heal those aspects of the insecurity and the unknown within you, right? You needed to let go of the steering wheel. You needed to let divine take the wheel, but also you realize at the same vicinity that you are divine, that you can create your reality, that you can shift these things. And this isn't about manipulation, I said. It's a power play. It's the ego being diminished, but it's actually a level of unconditional love that's free flowing to you. And it's happening because you've found that inner union, because you've been able to um, expand in a way that you didn't think that was possible. Like you've found this whole new sense of love within yourself, and that's shifted because you already are in a space of holding this inner union. Like it's almost as if you're ready for union, but you already are in union. It's a very weird type of energy if you haven't already felt it. But the people who resonate with this message will definitely understand what I mean. It's this recognition that you are your twin flame and your twin flame is you, but also it doesn't really matter because you are whole. That's the type of energy. You're not lonely, you're not on your own, you're just magnetizing all of that inner union because you're no longer fearing time or distance or silence or separation. You're not even longing for the signs anymore. You're just in a vicinity where you know your inner and higher selves are in union. So you're not really seeking validation from the physical. You're not really expecting something to happen in this state. But this is where you love deeply and fully, because this is where the magic happens, where you can actually expand anything that you want to create. And you're actually serving your own mission as well as other people's missions as a collective. So when sometimes we think we've lost something, something beautiful comes in and replaces it because you're becoming who you were always supposed to be. You've come into the wholeness of union within yourself, and you've stopped waiting for somebody else to complete you. And that's what I feel this message is really important for anybody who is listening. And I'm so grateful that I got to channel this for you guys. I did put out some cards, and the four cards that actually came up was the High Priestess, the Two of Pentacles, the Surprise card, and the Judgment. If you are attuned to the readings, you may want to look up those cards yourself. But basically, this is the type of energy I'm getting. You are the High Priestess. You are higher than you had ever been before. You're in a place that feels unfamiliar, but familiar at the same time. So there's no more deliberating about what is the next step because you know the next step will show up at the very specific time you need it. So there will be beautiful surprises coming up on your doorstep for you, divine feminines. And this is where you can allow all of the beautiful things of self-evaluation, reflection, love to come through because you've deserved all of this. You've worked for this, you recognize it. And most importantly, you recognize it in yourself. So I think that's absolutely beautiful. I'm sending you guys so much love. Bye for now.